So get this. Our neighborhood group tried to kick my 15-year-old daughter out of her own house. What started as a silly fight between neighbors turned into a huge battle that nobody saw coming. The lady who ran our neighborhood thought she was like a queen, but she made a big mistake. She picked on the wrong family. 3 months later, police officers were banging on her door at 6 in the morning while the whole neighborhood watched. What happened in between will totally blow your mind. This isn't just another story about mean neighborhood people. It's about a teenager who only had her bravery to help her beat someone who thought nobody could touch them. If you live anywhere with a neighborhood group, you really need to hear this. It all started on a quiet March morning in our neighborhood called Willow Creek. I was in my home office working on computer stuff for a company's new project when my daughter Emily knocked quietly. "Dad, it's Mom's special day today," she said, holding a box of colored chalk, her voice shaking. "Can I draw her picture on our driveway like she taught me?" Her eyes were getting watery with tears. How could I say no?
Anna, my wife who died, had been the artist in our family, spending hours with Emily drawing on the ground. It was their special thing. After a sickness called cancer took Anna 2 years ago, Emily hadn't used chalk since. I watched from the window.
As she got down on the ground, her hands moving very carefully, making a beautiful picture of Anna's face with roses and stars around it. Under it, she wrote in pretty handwriting, "Forever in our hearts, Mom." The morning sun made the colors look amazing, and for a moment it felt like Anna was right there with us. Our neighbors stopped to look at Emily's art. Jack Turner, the guy who fixes electricity next door, took a picture and said with a thick voice, "That's beautiful, kid. Your mom would be so proud." Carla Mendez from down the street brought Emily some lemonade. "You've got your mother's talent," she said nicely. By lunchtime, Emily had made something incredible covering our whole driveway, a tiny smile showing through her sadness for the first time in years. Then at exactly 12:01 in the afternoon, Victoria Hammond showed up. The neighborhood group president marched down the street in a fancy jacket with a clipboard in her hand, her blonde hair shining under expensive sunglasses. Victoria had controlled Willow Creek like it was her own kingdom for 5 years, but I'd stayed out of her way until that day. She stopped in front of our driveway, her face twisting into a mean look. "What is this mess?" she yelled, pointing a perfectly painted fingernail at Emily's memory art. "This breaks Rule 7.3 Part B." Emily looked up, still adding details to Anna's eyes. "It's just chalk, Mrs. Hammond. It'll wash away." But Victoria wasn't listening. She grabbed a water bottle from her purse and sprayed the picture. The colors ran everywhere, Anna's face turning into a muddy mess. "No!" Emily screamed, dropping to her knees trying to protect her art. "That's my mom!" Her cry hurt me like a knife. I ran outside, heart beating fast. "What the heck are you doing?" I yelled, stepping between Victoria and Emily, who was crying, with chalk-covered hands shaking. Victoria smiled meanly, not caring. "Just following neighborhood rules, Mr. Carter." Chalk is like graffiti, and graffiti isn't allowed. She wrote on her clipboard, each scratch like she was making fun of us. "It's a memory thing for her dead mother," I said, totally shocked. Jack and other neighbors came over, their faces showing surprise and anger. Carla put a hand on Emily's shoulder. "This is way too mean, Victoria," she said. But Victoria laughed a cold, cutting sound. "Being nice doesn't keep house prices up. Rules do." She stared at me, eyes shining with meanness. "You have 48 hours, Mr. Carter. Fight me and you'll be sorry." She typed really fast on her phone, talking about an emergency neighborhood meeting, then stomped off. I knelt beside Emily, holding her as she shook, the driveway now a mess of colored water. "I'm sorry, Dad," she whispered. "I just wanted to remember her." Anger burned in me, a fire I hadn't felt since Anna got sick. "You did nothing wrong," I said, pulling her close. Jack, still recording, growled, "I got it all. That woman just started a war with a sad kid." As I helped Emily up, I noticed something weird. Victoria had been taking photos of our house, garage, fence, mailbox before talking to us. Why? Something was wrong, and I was going to figure out what. That night, As Emily cried herself to sleep, I looked up neighborhood group laws online, finding stories of mean people, but nothing like this. Victoria had gone too far, and protecting Emily wasn't just a promise to my dying wife. It was my job. The next morning, I woke up to orange papers stuck all over our house. The one on the front door scared me. Notice of rule breaking. Emily Carter is not allowed in shared areas for messing up property and causing trouble. The Carter family has 14 days to move out for breaking neighborhood rules over and over. My hand shook. They weren't just after Emily. They wanted us gone. The signatures of the 5 neighborhood board members looked too perfect, almost exactly the same. I'd seen enough contracts to know something was fishy. At 9 in the morning, the doorbell rang. Michael Reed, the neighborhood group's second in charge, a failed accountant with a fake smile, stood with 2 big, tough men. "Morning, David," he said, fixing his tie. "Mrs. Hammond said we could make a deal. Sign this to leave in 30 days and we'll forget about the fines." The paper wasn't just a kick-out notice. It said we couldn't sue or talk about the neighborhood group. "Get off my property," I said angrily. Reed's smile disappeared. Victoria doesn't lose. As he left, Carla showed up at the fence. "David, we need to talk," she whispered, looking around nervously. She told me Victoria had tried buying our house twice, offering way less than it was worth. When you wouldn't sell, she got mean. She's done this before, forced out other families, with fake rule-breaking notices. Your lot's the biggest here, put together. With her next-door property, she could build apartments worth millions. That evening, I hired Laura Bennett, a house-selling lawyer Jack told me about. Looking at the notices, she frowned. "These signatures are photocopied. That's document lying." She told me to be careful. Mean neighborhood groups can get dangerous. Later at 10 at night, the doorbell rang. Through the peephole, I saw Ellen Parker, the neighborhood secretary, looking scared. She slid an envelope under my door. "The neighborhood group voted to kick you out," she whispered. "Check page 3. I highlighted something Victoria doesn't. No." Before I could ask, she ran away. Page 3 showed the kick-out vote was against the rules. The bylaws said they needed 75% of all homeowners to agree, not just the board, with 30 days' notice. A handwritten note said, "Check who officially signed the signatures. Look up Summit Really Corp EP." I called Laura, who answered even though it was late. "This is big, David, but Victoria is getting desperate now. Watch your back." Then I heard Emily crying. Her blog, where she wrote about losing Anna, was filled with mean comments from new accounts calling her crazy and dangerous. One had been sent to her principal. "What if I get kicked out of school?" she cried. My heart broke. "We're fighting this, and we'll win," I promised. The emergency neighborhood meeting was set for Tuesday, 3 days after the chalk thing. Laura, Emily, and I got there to a packed community center. Carla was outside live streaming. "People need to see this," she said to Michael Reed, who backed away. Inside, Victoria had turned the room into a courtroom, sitting at a high table, with a projector screen. She started with photos of Emily's chalk, not just the memory art, but months-old drawings of flowers and hopscotch. "Emily Carter has repeatedly messed up our community," she said, her voice dripping with fake worry. She showed Emily's tearful reaction, twisting it into crazy behavior. She quoted Emily's blog wrongly, making her sadness look like mental problems. "A teen obsessed with death," she said in a scary voice. "Is this who we want near our kids?" I stood up. "She's grieving her mother." Victoria was ready. "Which is why she needs help, not people saying it's okay." Emily gasped. "That's not what I meant." But the damage was done. Some parents looked at Emily with fear. Jack shouted, "This is like a witch hunt." But Victoria held up signed papers from 15 homeowners. "These signatures are fake," I yelled. Victoria smiled meanly. "So you're calling your neighbors liars, Mr. Carter?" Laura stepped in. "The bylaws say kick-out votes need 75% homeowner okay. Where's the record?" Victoria's smile wobbled. "The board has emergency powers." Laura pushed harder. Show me where that beats voting rules. Silence. Ellen suddenly spoke up. Mrs. Hammond never told us about her ties to Summit, really when she got elected. Victoria slammed the table. Meeting over. Carla's live stream went viral, watched by thousands. Emily wrote a blog post that night. When they try to silence your chalk, speak louder, about her mom, Art, and Victoria's meanness. By morning, it had 10,000 shares with comments from teens, artists, and HOA victims all over the country. But at school, Emily was ignored. Parents say I'm dangerous, she cried. Even my friend Lily won't talk to me. Victoria had cut her off, from everyone, but I was digging deeper. Ellen's hint led to Summit Really, where Victoria was a secret partner buying homes cheap to change into apartments. Carla found neighborhood records showing $200,000 in fines, with only $50,000 for fixing things. The rest went to Victoria's friends. Then came the attack. As Emily moved her bike from the garage, a car sped down our street, hitting her and wrecking the bike. She screamed, arm broken, cuts on her legs. Jack saw it. They aimed for her. Tire marks showed they sped up, not slowed down. At the hospital, I called the FBI. Agent Lisa Wong came, taking statements. With the fake child services visits, neighborhood fraud, and now this attack, we're opening a federal case, she said. Emily, from her bed, typed with one hand. They tried to silence me forever, but I'm still here. Her post. When they try to run you down, stand up stronger, got 100,000 shares in hours, making people all over the country angry. A scary text came. A photo of Emily in her hospital bed taken from outside with a message. Stop the FBI complaint or next time won't be an accident. At 6 a.m, Ellen called, scared, asking to meet at a coffee shop. Wearing a recording device, I went. Ellen confessed, Victoria and I ran this trick for years across states, forcing out homeowners for money. Your lot, zoned for business use, is worth $50 million with her other properties. She gave me bank papers, emails, and recordings. As her phone buzzed, she got pale. She knows I'm here, Victoria burst in, jumping at Ellen. You traitor! Chaos happened until FBI agents swarmed in, putting handcuffs on Victoria and Michael Reed, who tried to run away. The FBI found out Victoria's real name was Catherine Vaughn, a 15-year veteran of neighborhood scams across 9 states with $500,000 hidden overseas and a fake passport to Mexico. 3 board members and other neighborhood people had died mysteriously. Cases now reopened. At trial, Emily spoke, her cast covered in chalk art signatures. Victoria didn't just attack me, she attacked my mom's memory and everyone who's ever been sad. She got 20 years, no getting out for 12. At 6 a.m, police officers raided Victoria's fancy mansion, taking cash, gold, and files on every neighbor. The street became a chalk festival with Emily drawing despite her cast. Victoria, looking messy, cried as she was kicked out. You'll all pay, she hissed, pointing at Emily. Emily offered her chalk. Create, don't destroy. Victoria slapped it away, but Emily smiled. Hurt people hurt people. I hope you find healing. Days later, Victoria was caught at the airport with $50,000 and a fake passport, adding years to her punishment. Willow Creek created Emily's Art Day, where families draw chalk art to fight against mean bullies. Emily's blog inspired a movement across the country, proving one teen's bravery can knock down an empire of greed.